Chosen one, your gaze has learned a quiet craft. How to see without taking, how to welcome without summoning, how to honor without turning a person into a project. You look at the world the way a good harpist touches strings, enough to draw music, never enough to break anything. Before a sentence begins, your eyes have already said the most important thing. You are safe with me. The message lands in the body first. Shoulders release, jaws loosen, laughter returns to a rounder shape. People cannot explain why they tell you truths they had sworn to keep. It is not hypnosis, it is hospitality. Where hunger used to live behind your pupils, presence lives now. Presence is easier to trust. Chosen one, you practice this seeing at the most ordinary distances. The barista's rushed hands are not an inconvenience, they are a story. Your nod says you can relate. The elder in the checkout line is not an obstacle, she is an archive. Your smile says her pace is welcome. The child asking a complicated question is not noise, he is a beginning. Your eyes say beginnings are sacred. In each exchange, your gaze refuses to reduce the other to a task. It meets the person, not the role. Roles feel useful, persons feel seen. Seen people put down their shields. When shields go down, beauty wanders out of hiding. Chosen one, there is patience in your looking. You leave space after someone speaks, not to perform wisdom, but to grant meaning time to ripen. You do not finish their sentences because control is the enemy of revelation. You do not stare as if extracting an answer, you attend as if receiving a gift. Attention like this changes biographies. It slows pain enough to be named. It steadies joy enough to be trusted. It lets grief stay long enough to tell the truth and then leave lighter than it arrived. Your sexual energy used to chase the spark. Now it keeps the fire. The difference is visible in your eyes. They have stopped flickering for novelty and started burning for understanding. Chosen one, your gaze keeps boundaries without losing warmth. You know when to look away so privacy can breathe, and when to look back so loneliness doesn't grow teeth. You do not scan a room as if auditing it. You bless it with a sweep that gathers details for gratitude, not for leverage. When interest is mutual, you let your eyes speak with the manners of a good host. Hello, you first, take your time. Thank you. When it is not, you let them rest elsewhere with no sting, no sulk. Consent is not a script you recite, it is a rhythm you embody, and the rhythm begins in how you see. Chosen one, the truth you carry in your gaze repairs what hurry has broken. In conflict, you stay soft around the eyes even while your words stay firm. The softness says a person is still here. The firmness says the pattern must end. Your look becomes a bridge. Grief can cross without drowning. It becomes a light that tempers anger without shaming it back underground. People learn a new equation in your company. Accountability plus dignity equals change that lasts. They accept correction because they never lose their face in your eyes. Chosen one, memory stores sight differently than sound. Long after your voice has faded from a hallway, the glance you offered at the door lingers like a small lamp left on. A friend remembers the way your eyebrows lifted when she finally said the hard thing and decides to try honesty again tomorrow. A stranger recalls that your eyes did not roam while he fumbled for words, and he risks telling the next story from the beginning instead of the middle. The feminine remembers that you noticed her boundary and smiled, and later, when she chooses to open, she opens from comfort, not from fear. This is the secret influence of a clean gaze. It multiplies in private. Chosen one, even the natural world answers to how you see it. Trees regain names. Sky remembers how to be more than forecast. Rain stops being an inconvenience and becomes a message that the ground intends to stay generous. You look up more often now, not in search of escape, but to let gratitude stretch your vision. That stretch shows up when you return to rooms. Your eyes bring horizon with them. People feel bigger in your presence because your sight makes space around their small anxieties. The room inhales. Time slows enough for kindness to catch up. Chosen one, keep your eyes unarmed. Let curiosity be their first language and reverence their accent. Practice meeting faces where they are and leaving them warmer than you found them. Practice looking at what you love until love grows quiet and sure. Practice looking at what wounds you without letting bitterness colonize the view. When you are tired, rest your gaze on simple things that tell the truth without noise. Steam from a cup, the back and forth of a passerby, the pattern light makes on a table. Let these sights reteach your attention how to be faithful. A faithful gaze is rare. Rare things glow without trying. Chosen one, your eyes are becoming the place where the world remembers itself. Not because you have answers for every ache, but because you do not turn away when ache speaks. Not because you can fix every story, but because you refuse to make any story smaller than it is. The body reads that refusal and relaxes. Words return at their own pace. Doors once guarded by performance open inward. And there, in the honest room beyond, attraction does its cleanest work. It invites, it does not coerce. It dignifies, it does not devour. It awakens, it does not alarm. Keep seeing like this. What your eyes bless today will become the light other people follow out of themselves tomorrow. Chosen one, the light that surrounds you now is not a flash. It is a lamp trimmed at dawn. It does not depend on applause or luck because it feeds on rhythm. You have learned that discipline is the gentlest guardian a soul can hire, and your days carry its signature. The calendar hanging inside your chest is no longer a graffiti wall where anyone may draw. It has become a covenant written in steady hand. You keep the edges of your time the way a craftsman keeps the edge of a blade, quietly, daily, with respect for what it must cut and what it must never harm. The result is radiance that does not sputter. Your sexual energy, once eager to race wherever the moment pointed, now moves like a river that knows its banks. It is not diminished by those banks, it is made powerful by them. In that containment, heat turns generous. In that focus, magnetism matures. Chosen one, boundaries are the architecture of your glow. They are not walls against the world. They are frames for the masterpiece you are responsible to finish. A frame tells the eye where to look, so beauty can actually be seen, and you have learned to frame your hours. Morning is held for breath and building, not for the shouting of 1,000 strangers. Midday is reserved for worthy labor, the kind that leaves you stronger than it found you. Evening is kept for blessing, rooms put back in order, words spoken that make tomorrow easier, silence preserved like a field left fallow on purpose. You have stopped negotiating with chaos for borrowed energy. You cultivate your own. That cultivation glows through your skin with a steadiness you can feel before you can explain. Chosen one, the boundaries you now keep are not scowls, they are smiles with a spine. Your no arrives like a door that fits its frame. No slam, no draft, no guilt nailed to the hinges. It does not humiliate the asker. It honors the life that must remain coherent. Your yes is no longer a collapse in disguise. It is a deliberate welcome that you have the strength to sustain. This is why your presence is restful, even when your posture is strong. People trust a man whose edges are readable. They can approach without the fear of vanishing into someone else's unfinished needs. The glow that others feel around you is the relief of clarity, heat that does not burn, warmth that does not waver, attention that does not ask for a receipt. Chosen one, discipline has refined your appetites from noise into nourishment. What once entered your mind by default must now pass a gate. You curate the songs that live in your ribs, the headlines that try to rent your adrenaline, the talk that wants to turn your tongue against your own peace. You choose food that remembers the sun and sleep that remembers the moon. You move your body not to punish it, but to give it stamina for the good it is called to carry. Your sexual energy notices this order and relaxes into it like a guest who has finally found the right house. It flows into your voice without the tremor of grasping. It enters your gaze without the sharpness of hunger. It infuses your walk with the gravity of a man who has already arrived. Chosen one, you have learned to be unavailable to bait. Provocation comes wrapped as urgency. You breathe. Flattery comes disguised as opportunity. You weigh its cost in daylight. Conflict arrives begging for escalation. You answer with a temperature that cannot be drafted into someone else's weather. This is not indifference, this is mastery. Discipline is not the absence of fire. It is the habit of feeding the right logs at the right time. You stack wood by telling the truth before your pride writes a longer story. You stack wood by repairing quickly when you nick the day. You stack wood by finishing what you start or laying it down cleanly when it no longer deserves your hands. The hearth you maintain is why others gather and grow warm without fear of smoke. Chosen one, boundaries exist in your touch as well as your time. You have trained your hands to speak the language of consent before they speak anything else. A guiding palm asks and then listens. A handshake carries promise but never debt. Even the way you set a glass on a table says that nothing in your grip will be dropped. The body reads these assurances and relaxes into its own truth. Attraction ceases to be a contest and becomes a conversation. It moves at the speed of trust because you will not move faster. This discipline, especially now, is magnetic. It is rare to meet desire that has learned how to bow to wisdom and still remain desire. That rareness shines. Chosen one. Discipline lives in your sentences too. You no longer spill words to pad your courage. You do not decorate truth to sell it. You speak as a man who must live inside what he says. When you say, "I'll be there," you already know what you must do to make it true. When you say, "I can't," you've saved the day from a slow betrayal later. You have arrested the little crimes against time, late starts that brag about being busy, half-finished tasks that pretend to be progress, promises made in the fever of the moment. In their place, you have set small, faithful acts, the list that fits a day, the apology that arrives before shame builds scaffolding, the pause that keeps respect from fraying. Light loves such faithfulness. It moves in and stays. Chosen one, keep the practice honest. Let your rituals remain plain and strong. Guard the morning like a threshold and the night like a garden. Let your phone be a tool you pick up on purpose, not a god you kneel to by reflex. Keep a simple ledger for your attention. Does this give me back to myself or spend me on spectacle? Drink water when excuses arrive. Walk when noise grows teeth. Stretch when certainty hardens. Laugh like a man whose joy is not rented. The glow that follows is not an accident. It is the dividend of coherence. Boundaries made it possible. Discipline made it dependable. Together they have given your light a house that does not blow down. Chosen one, remember finally that discipline is tenderness extended over time. It is how you parent your future from the present. It is how you protect the love you have not met yet. It is how you keep your heat from becoming harm. Let others call it strict if they must. Their bodies will still lean toward your climate when their own weather fails. They will not always know why. You will. The lamp was trimmed at dawn, and you kept it trimmed. That is why it glows without trying. Chosen one, the warmth you carry now is not a spotlight. It is a hearth. It does not interrogate. It invites. People step into your radius, and their bodies remember an ancient permission. Breathe like you live here. Your glow comforts because it does not crowd. It does not demand stories or silence them. It does not turn attention into appetite. It offers steadiness like a chair with no wobble. The nervous systems around you, tired, overbriefed, underheld, find in your presence a place to set down their bags and hear themselves think. This is not an accident of temperament. It is the harvest of practice. You have made room inside yourself, and room is what your light gives away. Chosen one, comfort begins in how you listen. Your face does not hustle the speaker. Your eyes do not audition for a better view across the room. You let sentences arrive at their own speed, and you leave space after the last word, as if meaning were still catching up from a long run. In that space, truths decide they are safe. Confessions that would have dressed themselves as jokes walk out in plain clothes. Laughter, relieved of its duty to hide pain, becomes sweeter. You do not fix with haste. You do not worship problem-solving to avoid tenderness. You understand that comfort is not the absence of ache, but companionship inside it. Your presence says, without tugging, I can sit with this and with you until light returns. Chosen one, your glow comforts because it carries no invoice. Too many have learned that warmth is expensive, that after the embrace comes the expectation, after the favor comes the ledger, after the listening comes the leverage. You have scrubbed your kindness of these hidden taxes. Your encouragement is not a down payment on influence. Your generosity does not surface later as a subpoena. Even your silence does not sharpen into a future weapon. People feel this clean-heartedness the way skin feels shade on a burning day. Shoulders drop, jaws soften. The whole room becomes more merciful with itself because you refused to make compassion a currency. Chosen one, you comfort in motion as much as in words. In a crowded doorway, you angle your body to widen the path without making a show of sacrifice. At a table, you notice the quiet voice and tilt the conversation so it has a turn. In traffic, your patience spreads like a small miracle from one lane to the next. In a kitchen, you wash dishes as if the next hands that touch them belong to someone you love. Animals choose your feet to curl beneath. Elders take a longer breath when you steady the step. The young try bolder thoughts because your smile makes failure feel survivable. These are not gestures you plan. They are the natural behavior of a man who has become a mild climate in a violent season. Chosen one, your humor comforts because it refuses to feed on anyone. You laugh with, never at. You redeem the awkward moment instead of prosecuting it. You carry a talent for changing the temperature of a room with one well-placed sentence, and you use it to lower fevers, not to raise them. When fear tries to sprint away with the mood, you can call it back without scolding, as if to say, it's all right to be here. We can make a chair for you too. Fear held kindly shrinks. Joy held reverently stays. Around you, both learn their right proportions, and the room understands that safety is not silence. Safety is truth held without harm. Chosen one, your glow becomes shelter when conflict knocks. You do not choose sides so quickly that you lose the people standing on them. You name the pattern that hurts while leaving the person intact. Your sentences carry both edges and balm. This must stop. We will still be human afterward. With that assurance, apologies do not feel like executions. They feel like bridges. You do not weaponize your calm to win. You loan it so others can cross. This is why even those who disagree with you seek you when the night gets loud. They know your light does not blind, it guides. Chosen one, comfort is a choreography of little phrases you now speak like a native tongue. Take your time. I can wait. Try again. That makes sense. Thank you for telling me. You say them without theater, and they do their quiet work, rehydrating trust, unknotting shame, stitching a ragged edge where a conversation was about to tear. Your text at the end of the day, home safe, is not surveillance, it is stewardship. Your goodbye at the door, rest well, arrives with real power because you have earned the right to bless what you do not control. People sleep better when you say it, not because you are magic, but because you have taught their bodies that they may unclench in your orbit, and that habit follows them into the dark. Chosen one, your comfort lingers after you leave. A colleague finds herself speaking more gently in the meeting that follows. A friend chooses water over another numbing scroll. A stranger you held the elevator for pays attention to his own posture the rest of the afternoon. Children who watched you kneel to their height decide to ask their question out loud next time. The air remembers the manners you gave it. The room keeps some of your tone. Comfort is contagious when it is honest, and yours is. It spreads without needing credit because it is not trying to purchase anything. Your glow has become a seed, other hours can grow. Chosen one, let your comfort stay human. Do not polish it into performance or schedule it into obligation. Keep noticing small fatigue before it becomes big anger. Keep offering water before someone realizes they are thirsty. Keep opening the window of a stale moment so breath can find its way back. Keep choosing phrases that return dignity instead of stealing speed. The world has taught many to be suspicious of light. Show them a light that does not interrogate, a warmth that does not scorch, a presence that does not crowd. This is how your sexual energy becomes a public good, felt as shelter, remembered as ease, recognized in hindsight as the reason someone's day did not break. Chosen one, you are radiant not because you glitter, but because you give rest. You turn rooms from auditions into homes, conversations from debates into tables, silence from punishment into peace. There will be places that try to make you prove this every hour. You do not have to. Keep your lamp trimmed. Keep your pace merciful. Keep your edges kind and your center kept. Those who step near will feel what they have not felt in too long, a steady welcome. And they will call that feeling beauty, because there is not yet a better word for what happens to the heart when it finally sits down and the fire is already warm. Chosen one, there is a kind of confidence that does not swagger, a strength that does not advertise, a certainty that does not bruise the air around it. That is the confidence you carry now, and its source is stillness. Not the stillness of absence or retreat, but the stillness of deep attendance. The steadiness of a man who has stopped mistaking motion for progress and noise for meaning. You stand as a harbor stands when ships are frantic in high tide, present, lit, unafraid of waves that used to dictate your weather. Your sexual energy, once eager to rush ahead of you and bargain for what you already are, has learned to sit beside you and breathe. It no longer argues with the hour. It collaborates with it. In that collaboration, heat becomes warmth, hunger becomes hospitality, attraction becomes atmosphere. People feel it before they have language for it. The slackening of pace in their own bodies when you enter, the extra inch their breath seems to find, the way conversation stops trimming itself into sound bites and begins to arrive whole. Chosen one, the sacred confidence of stillness is born in unremarkable places where you chose integrity over impulse. It began when you stopped letting every notification trespass on your attention, when you stopped feeding arguments that had nothing to teach you, when you stopped renting rooms in your mind to imaginations that never once paid in peace. In the quiet you made, your instincts became legible again. You could hear the difference between a door knocking and a window rattling, between invitation and intrusion, between the thrill that grows you and the thrill that empties you. This is why your presence carries a gravity others lean into. You are not a cliff to impress or a stage to perform upon. You are ground, clean, firm, forgiving. The feminine recognizes ground long before she recognizes a face. Her nervous system hears the old promise in your posture. I will not rush you to earn the moment. I will not punish you for naming the truth. I will not vanish when honesty arrives wearing yesterday's clothes. And because that promise is kept without spectacle, her shoulders forget to guard, and her beauty remembers its own timing. Chosen one, stillness is not the absence of desire. It is the mastery of its music. You have learned to hold a note without forcing the song to finish in the first chorus. You let eye contact ripen without caging it. Let silence carry meaning without crowding it. Let touch remain a sentence instead of a speech, when a sentence is all the scene can bear. Your sexual energy does not interrupt, it harmonizes. It listens for consent, as a musician listens for key, and because it listens, it can lead without dragging and follow without disappearing. You have discovered how to be strong without being loud, tender without being fragile, available without being porous. That synthesis is rare enough to feel like weather. Rooms change temperature around you. Humor softens into kindness. Boldness stops borrowing from cruelty. Sorrow stops confusing volume with truth. The thermostat has found its setting, and the house is grateful. Chosen one, you have also made peace with pace. The calendar does not bully you into making intimacy sprint. You let the conversation end while it is still sweet, knowing that endings handled with respect become beginnings that trust themselves when they return. You let a no be clean so that a later yes is free. You let a goodbye be a real goodbye, not a disguised demand for another hour, and that dignity writes itself into your aura like sunlight into wood. The body remembers being treated this way. It remembers that speed can be a form of fear, that force can be a form of fraud, that rushing can be an apology dressed as ambition. Your stillness apologizes for nothing because it is not withholding. It is cultivating. It keeps the soil warm so seeds dare to split themselves open, which is the bravest act in nature and in love. Chosen one, you are learning that rest is not a reward for exhaustion. It is the root of excellence. Your stillness is not idleness. It is the discipline that protects your clarity. You guard enough sleep to keep your patience honest. You give your body movement not to punish it into obedience, but to teach it the rhythms that make generosity possible. You eat like a man who intends to be kind at 4 p.m. when the world forgets its manners. You refuse to let your afternoons be financed by the loan sharks of frantic caffeine and scrolling outrage. You return again and again to breath the way a sailor returns to stars. Not because he wants to be romantic, but because he wants to arrive. Arriving is what your stillness accomplishes again and again. You arrive in your words so they have nothing to hide. You arrive in your gaze so it has nothing to collect. You arrive in your touch so it has nothing to prove. The sacred confidence you emanate is simply the feeling of being met by someone who has truly arrived. Chosen one, there is authority in how you refrain. You do not add volume when you could add vision. You do not borrow attention when you could offer presence. You do not flex when you could bless. Your restraint is not fear, it is fidelity to what works. You have stopped auditioning for storms. When conflict comes, you greet it as a host, trained to shepherd fire back to the hearth. You will raise your voice when the vulnerable need a wall, but you do not raise it to score a point. You will draw a line when harm approaches, but you do not draw it to humiliate the human who crossed it. You will exit a room when dignity requires distance, but you do not slam the door for noise. This kind of power is almost invisible until the night is loud. Then it becomes the only light worth following. Chosen one, your stillness has made you legible to yourself. You do not confuse loneliness with solitude anymore. You do not call boredom what is actually space. You do not label tenderness weakness or mistake numbness for peace. Because you read yourself clearly, you read others cleanly. And because you read others cleanly, you can hold them carefully. In your presence, a heart that was bracing for interrogation meets an invitation. A voice that expected to be managed meets genuine curiosity. A body that assumed it had to barter discovers it can simply be. Such discoveries rewrite biographies in silent ways. People leave you and make better choices without being told. They sleep deeper without knowing why. They stop needing so much noise to feel alive. That is the quiet revolution your stillness starts. Confidence at this level is not a costume, it is a climate change. And a climate like this is the most attractive thing a man can carry because it returns others to themselves while you remain yourself, unthreatened, unhurried, unwavering. Chosen one, keep guarding this interior sanctuary with the same mercy that built it. Let the mornings be slower than the world thinks this is smart. Let your yes and your no continue to be sentences that need no footnotes. Let repair be quicker than pride, gratitude more fluent than gossip, forgiveness more practiced than performance. Let your stillness remain porous enough to feel and strong enough to stay. When you walk into a room, carry this knowledge like a secret under your tongue. There is nothing to chase, only something to host. Then host it. Host it in your breath, in your eyes, in your pace, in the temperature of your hands. The sacred confidence of stillness will keep doing what it alone can do, turning your light from spectacle into shelter and making your presence the place where truth prefers to speak. Chosen one, some lights attract, some lights guide, and some lights awaken. Your glow has entered the third category. It does not seduce the room into watching you. It reminds the room to watch itself with kinder eyes. It does not hypnotize, it harmonizes. People step into your radius and find they can hear their original song again under all the static. This is the quiet miracle of a glow that has nothing to prove. It gives back rather than takes in, multiplies rather than hoards, clarifies rather than dazzles. Your sexual energy, having married humility and discipline, has become generative. It stirs life in tired places, the way spring persuades branches that suffered through February to risk green. Nothing in your manner demands this renewal, yet it begins anyway. Shoulders drift downward, humor grows rounder, timelines loosen their grip. Hearts, which had been performing competence, remember how to be brave. Chosen one, awakening is not the same as arousal, though arousal may visit after it. Awakening is when the dormant parts of a person decide to come out of the attic and sit at the table again. Your presence gives them permission. You call courage by its real name without demanding a performance of it. You call tenderness by its real name without asking it to hide behind irony. You call grief by its real name without turning it into a spectacle. You call desire by its real name without pressuring it to pay rent by midnight. In your company, the inner room of another life becomes walkable. Doors that had been nailed shut with old shame begin to breathe on their hinges. Windows that had been painted over with busyness, remember they were made to open. This is not because you fixed anyone. It is because you kept your climate so honest that false weather could not survive in it. Chosen one, the glow that awakens others is carried in small customs, the manners of a man who intends for people to leave better than they arrived. You pronounce names with care as if syllables were delicate inheritance. You share credit as if the supply were infinite. You refuse to make jokes from someone's sore spot, even when the room would laugh. You end the moment while it is still shining so memory can keep it. You hold the door not to choreograph gratitude, but to confess that moving together is more human than moving alone. These are ordinary gestures, yet they signal a worldview. Goodness is not scarce, and dignity is not expensive. In such a world, people find themselves trying their real selves on again, the version that trusts rather than scans, that listens before it answers, that tells the truth before it is cornered. That version of a person is the one your glow keeps waking. Chosen one, your light also wakes sleeping vocations. In your presence, a friend who had been negotiating against her own gift begins to speak about it in the present tense. A colleague who had reduced his talent to wages remembers that craft matters. A child who is told to be realistic remembers that real things grow, and growth is a wild art. You do not mentor with speeches as often as you mentor with tempo. The speed at which you breathe while doing difficult tasks teaches stamina. The patience with which you practice a small skill teaches reverence. The joy you permit in the middle of the work teaches permission to be alive before the finish line.